So, the energy talk is starting shortly, and I would love to introduce you speakers from Slovakia and Lubos Surzin and Oto Kandera. They are doing super cool matte painting for outstanding movies, and they have and cinematics. So, have a seat and enjoy the presentation. And a big applause.
All right, so before the presentation, who will be first with the hands up win the beer? Nobody want a beer? Okay, it's mine. Okay, that guy behind with the glasses on the face. Come here. For your prize, man. You won it. That's yours, okay. Okay, so this is me, and this is he, and we will tell you about some matte paint today. So right now we can start. I will use my notes because I'm super nervous, you know, so if you are okay with that, I will be fine. Fine. So, what can I tell you about the matte painting? The matte paint belongs to the invisible VFX part of post-production. It means that the watcher shouldn't be able to recognize any sign of some computer graphics in the film, so it must be super realistic. And instead of animation effects, it is, for example, adding some backgrounds on the blue screen. As you can see, this is example for the post-production. We have the finished footage, and we have to add some background there, which is in the notes from the production. You know, I did this masterpiece 1 hour ago. So we have to change the background by something what people want for us. And this is how the pipeline looks like. We are in the studio about, 100 people, and the departments working together. For example, matte painting department, 3D modeling department, and match move department, FX department. We are all working on the assets and deliver to the final department, which is compositing department, and compositors take all assets together and connect it in the final result, which is the final movie. Okay. What we do in like matte painters is, changing the background, like we can do on the full CG stuff, which is without no footage, without video. Also, and the second one is we have footage and add something like instead of the blue screen, like here. And the third case is some retouches, which I hate the most. For example, when we have on video some windows with the lights, and the supervisor is not satisfied with the lights, we have to erase it. But it's boring, but we have to also do it. So, do you want a mic?
Yeah, hello, I'm Lubos. Just gonna stand up. DMP, actually matte painting, DMP shortcut, is not only on the VFX side as movies, but also as episodic or game cinematics. I am a matte painter and concept artist for basically VFX, episodics, and the game cinematics as well, where actually it's a kind of similar workflow between the VFX and the games. I decided to talk about the game cinematics and implementation of matte painting, creating the backgrounds, touches on the 3D renders, and all that kind of stuff. Mostly working for Axis Animation on their, I think, one of the best cinematics out there. And so it's a little bit different comparing to VFX because VFX is based on the footage on a real plate. We call it plate. And it's mostly on the blue screen shot or green screen, where in game cinematics is based on the pure imagination and basically what is needed by the concept art or art director, and basically what they want to present. Mostly in the game cinematics, it's mostly, I'm just gonna show you a couple of things, I'm just gonna open up the Axis hyper-realistic reel, basically, which I was a part of, creating a couple of pretty cool shots. So basically, this is all like a CG stuff. There is no real footage done, and mostly it's a implementation of still keeping the realism in, but also a little bit of stylized. And like this is one of the shots I was working on, establishing the key, and Otto was helping me out. It was like many shots of this one, and basically to be working on all these environments, sky, city, the clouds. All of this was like implemented by the layers, 2D layers, based on pre-layout, they call it LRC, materials as well.
Yeah, the next purpose of the matte paint is to make the scenes not so heavy, because the matte painting is about add the 2D renders cards towards the camera and make the parallax. So you know when is the camera in the front of the object like this, and the movement of camera is like this and like this. The movement is simple, so you have to make the scene not so heavy by the 3D object. That's with the 2D renders, so it is more friendly for your render farm, you know.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry. Going back to cinematics and DMP. I think it's one of the, to me, one of the coolest jobs, because we are also part of designing and having a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of freedom, creating something which is pretty cool visually. And mostly speaking with the art directors and the directors as well, and the client side, you end up doing something that's very creative as well. All of these layers, actually, as a DMP, let's say the clouds, background mountains, sky, and you know, like everything is like break down into the pieces, and you're putting it all in together in the cards in the mostly Nuke, which you know, we are setting up also the projections and based on the layout, and the workflow. It's also basically interaction between the different departments, mostly CG department and the lighting, where they provide us cameras, layout, any sort of elements as well sometimes. And basically, we as a DMP artist in game cinematics, but also as in VFX, we put it all together in Nuke and deliver to the compers for the final comp, pre-comp, or sometimes we do also renders as well, and give them QuickTime EXRs or you know sequence basically for the final stuff.
This is it what I told about.
Yeah.
This is the pipeline.
And how it all kind of works and looks. It's this little presentation, which actually the DMP is made by my colleague Otto. And
maybe I can show the PSD, for example, and the sources of the 3D. I prepared some DMP for you. I wanted to say it's big advantage of the matte painter have some own camera, and if you are not afraid to go, for example, in the forest during the night, you can do your own personal gallery and of the good photos, and if you have good references for you, it's good to work with your own stuff.
Yeah, and also you can actually
so
take
for example, when you take the photos like this, you know, it's really hard to find it on the internet, and you can use it in your own work, you know. So I did a PSD of my matte paint. Give me the moment.
In some cases, actually, I took pictures of different elements, like, for example, Gillette, the shaving device. It's a very cool, shiny materials as well. And I took, in one case, I was doing one sci-fi show, and I just took a picture of different angles of the Gillette, the razor. And I just put it into the shot, and it's there, It has a nice shiny materials. It looks sci-fi, and I just made it as a sci-fi building, actually. So you can take pictures of anything, basically. It was same for the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage. It's been like 2008 or something, where I was working on the shot with the sun, and the sun growing and basically going to destroy the Earth. And there was not big enough references of the sun and the surface of the sun. So I was once I was washing my hands in the kitchen, and I look at the sponge, and I took a picture of the sponge and make it circle, because sponge has this small, the small noise-like material, and I just changed it into the sun, and the director was happy. So the sun in the movie is actually sponge. Picture of the sponge.
Just open the 3D folder.
It's the same for VFX and for the games. I tend to go out with my camera and just take pictures for anything. Like if the client wants sky, like a sunset or sunrise, I don't really go to any websites anymore. I just go up to the roof of the buildings, take a 360 panorama with the overlapping, and then stitch it together, and just give some options to the clients, which ones they're going to pick.
So let's jump to the process. I did my own references on some trips I had. This is some snowy mountains which I needed for my matte paint. So I captured all those shots and connected it together in this final matte paint. This is it. Like you can see, all the layers here, they are separately. I will show you the render video from the nuke. So this is the 2D part, and this is the 3D part. I did those objects, set the right camera angle to fit the right perspective, created the render, and after I had the render, I had to cover those 3D objects by the photos to the realistic result, as you can see here. You see this bunker is covered by the photos because it must be real, and the 3D is not real. So I connected it all together in this final matte paint. And also the camera side is like this, and the plan of the animation was that the camera area will be moved. Can you show? You see the cursor. The camera move will go from the right to the left, and it will be in the the animation will be with the movement, and the video of the render was like this, but it's unfinished. It is like this, and after that you can see how the cards are behind themselves.
Yeah, I've been given with the layers from Oto for all this DMP stuff, and I just break them down into tips with the transparency, save them from the back to front, from the sky being the longest, the most far object. So it's actually the same way as building the world. You're starting with the sky, and then you put the clouds on top, and then you put the background mountains, midground, foreground elements, 3D renders with the paint overs, and some even like a dust and smoke and mist elements as well. And very important is to spread everything into layers and in the correct 3D distances in the 3D space, which you can actually see right now. I'm just going to point. So, this is the sky, it's on the one card, and then you have mountains, which...
Everything is on the separated layer.
Yeah, so you can see like all the layers are separate and in the 3D
need it
distances.
for the parallax.
So what it does, yeah, exactly. What it does is actually creates the parallax. It's the same like with my hand, like you have layers on my fingers, and if you move, within the distances, you basically, creating the parallax of the movement. The illusion is in 3D space, and sometimes in Nuke, it's important to follow the topology of each element, because the cards in Nuke are flat. Planes, basically. So sometimes you need to modify them or sculpt them or model them, like a very easy way. At least
the result on the card is always the 2D render, so the scene is not so heavy when you're using just the 2D.
Yeah. And basically, so you can see, I just created basically the shot is coming, camera zoom out to show you the layers and the 3D layout, and then camera coming back and just continue the shot. It's just for the background. You can create as many layers as you want, basically, or as is needed for the correct parallax. In some cases, when I was working on Hunger Games, this type of trees, I was working on the huge scene when they arriving to the city, to the District 12, and basically I was given the task to create the trees and the flowers as a DMP, and I was like, hell no, it's a lot of work, and they said like, well, it's fine, just do it. So I was actually went out, take pictures of the trees, and then start to separate each branch one after one, and put them into the card as a kind of like a tree. And then project it back to Nuke to have a parallax between the leaves and between the branches. And also, it was the same with the flowers. I did 38 layers of the flowers, 38 flowers on the floor, and they were like, okay, let's move this one over here, this one over here. And I was like, oh well, no, you cannot really just move it, because if I'm gonna move this flower, which has 4 leaves and the flower itself, it's gonna take time. And I'm like, oh, well, why not? I was like, okay. So I stayed like until midnight, and then at the morning, director came back and said like, oh, you know what, it doesn't work. Let's move it back. I was like, all right. So this is like a demonstration of the layers and the layering and the projection, and this works for the VFX and for the game cinematics as well. It's the same way, same approach actually. Sometimes I go out and took pictures of the objects in the way of from different angles with a flat light, not strong shadows, and just go to and create a photogrammetry of it. So.
Okay, maybe we can show you some reels of the projects which we worked on, some cool videos. For example, when I was with Lubos together in the UK, and we worked on the one Western movie, News of the World. And this is a good example of the matte paint, because as I told, the matte paint is part of the invisible VFX. You will see, you will see it. Okay.
Which actually, sometimes people refer to it as a hidden art, so basically it's not noticeable. Which is like because DMP is not only pretty images, but also something that doesn't exist, and they wanted to add it in. It might be even like a small rocks, but they create a scene.
Can I play it?
Yeah. So this was the establishing shot of the movie, beginning of the shot. They provide to us all this 3D stuff. This is the plate, this is the 3D stuff. And we did paint on top.
All the buildings, mountains, horizon.
Yeah.
Now you can see the blue screen and what we add instead of that. But I don't know if it's visible because it's light here.
And so as you can see, it's many layers, which we deliver to the comp for the final stage, adding smoke, rain, dust, edge blur, and all that kind of stuff, motion blur, or some moving elements like a water. Yeah.
Now you can see why I told invisible, because it's not about some dragon which is flying over the city and spitting fire on the innocent people, but it's about the buildings and the hills behind. You just don't think they are change it. And this is a good example how to see it.
Yeah.
So we add some hills behind.
Actually, my journey started as in the VFX, creating matte paintings. But then I moved to, I'm still in VFX, but I moved to game cinematics and virtual production at the moment, which I'm trying to bring all this knowledge and workflow from VFX into game as well, into game cinematics and the virtual production as well. Oh, for the virtual production, it's a little bit different because in virtual production, they are on set with the LEDs. And we have to work basically like a live action, like what they want to do and change something. It has to be in the second because they are shooting and they want to say, like, okay, I want to move this building over there, over there, over there. So we are basically...
Maybe can I tell something about this project? For example, this one, we had to build the city of San Antonio from the 17th century or maybe 80. And it was a little bit investigating work because the researchers sent us some ancient maps of the San Antonio. So we had to build the city from the researches we did. It was a very interesting job on this.
Yeah, that was my first shot actually when I started at Outpost. And they gave me like, okay, this is a brief. We need to have a San Antonio from Western ages, and they provide us some maps with the topology of the city, of the town, in that period of time. So we actually needed to kind of build from the blueprint to build the city very quickly with the concepts. And then once they were happy, we needed to kind of finish it up. We did the concept, give to the 3D department. Modelers did their modeling job. They gave it back to us, and we just did the paint overs.
Paint overs and some 2D cards behind this front of the 3D elements. Yeah, as you can see, those buildings behind are just 2D. All right, for example, another one reel. We work together, and after this reel, Lubos will show his masterwork. This is the game cinematic for the Anthem game. And we work together on some environments. And this is the show reel.
Yep.
Of course, this is 3D department stuff, but also the matte paint will be there. So, for example, here, the jungle with the lighting leaves, everything is changed by the matte paint department. And next will be bigger matte paints to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, this one.
Yeah, I've been working on that shot actually from the very beginning. I think it requires, if I remember correctly, maybe someone is here from UPP as well, I don't know. But I think it took me like 27 versions to finish it up. So it was like a back and forth between designing the jungle, the topology where the mountains will be, and the water, and how the camera will be moving as well.
Maybe I can go back to the shot we did together. And you will show us. exactly what we did.
Yeah, and then afterwards, well, it was designing all these, topology and placements of the elements, like how we're going to read the image and the scene as well, and by the camera movement. I like I said, I did like a 27 or 28 versions. I don't remember correctly. Then I was put on another show, so one of my colleagues picked it up and finished it up completely. But the fun part was creating, and that's a very fun part for game cinematics. You have a freedom of kind of modify what you want to present into the project. So where in VFX we are more strict basically to the plate and to the light on the plate. But in here, we had the freedom to kind of, okay, I want to have more of the spiky rocks. Actually, all of these elements, when I was living in Singapore, I went to Yellow Mountains and Guilin in China to just take photos of this environment. It's an amazing place to go to. If you're gonna have a chance, you have to go. And all these elements, actually, they are photos that I took myself with my camera when I was traveling in China, basically.
Okay. So yeah, we can jump to the questions.
Okay, thank you guys for your presentation. It was so awesome. And now, currently, we have a few minutes for questions. Just raise your hand, and I will come up.
Hello.
Hello.
If you work on like a big shot like this for the Anthem game, like the one you showed just before, do you have like concept art that you work off of before that?
Sometimes. For this shot, actually, when I started at UPP,
I think we had this structure of the 3D, like a concept.
Yeah, we had a structure of the 3D structure of this shot. It's not there anymore. But they gave me as a first shot to work on, and I needed to come up with the concept first, just to mock up something together. And my way of concepting I found it very useful for next steps is basically working with the photoreal elements, like with the photos, to put all things together. Because afterwards, once the concept is approved, and they say, okay, let's do it this way because we like it, I have already the source of the photos done, which is then easier to just finish it up as a realistic DMP work.
Okay, thank you.
It really depending on the show. Sometimes you get the concepts. Sometimes you have to come with the ideas. Yeah.
Sometimes you do your own concepts.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you approaching like continuity? So say you have. So how are you approaching continuity? So say you have a different angle for a shot. How are you? And you might have one single element.
Can you put your mic more close to your mouth?
Yeah, sorry. How are you approaching continuity? Say you have different angles because your matte paintings are like single elements. Say you need a different angle and you don't have that photo available. How are you approaching, especially in like film, where
we are approaching the continuity?
Yeah. Like you have a one shot and then you have a different shot in different part of the movie, but you're gonna have a different angle.
We have also sources which we are able to work with.
Okay,
Yeah, basically, you create one key shot. Mostly, we're starting with a key shot, which is the hero shot of the film or of the scene or sequence, and basically you have a photo library with different angles of the elements. Like for example, when I was working on the Pacific Rim movie, they sent us over to Hong Kong for location scouting and also taking pictures and photogrammetry as well. So we had a different angle because the director knows, like, okay, we're gonna have a shot from this angle, low angle, looking after the building. So it's good to go to be on set as well. Yeah.
If the assets are missing, we have to take the camera and do our own stuff. So, but it's not so often.
And sometimes, actually, when I was working on Prince of Persia movie. We had a bad guy in the set, and he was taking pictures always from the floors, from the first person view, basically. And we had high-level shots overlooking the city. So what I end up to flipping the images upside down and work on those actually. So yeah.
So it requires a lot of pre-planning, basically, to make sure you have all the right angles beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. We have still time for 2 questions. Just raise a hand and I will come up to you.
For example, which brushing we are using.
No. Okay, meantime, I have a question. Like,
Of round.
in terms of like creating these environments, what is your main source of inspiration when, okay, it wouldn't be the photos, like if it would be something different, like you would take inspiration from books or movies or like other source of it?
Well, we have strict notes by the production, so the concepts, the work on concepts is not so usual on the matte paint department. But
when I was working on the one show, actually, there was a director who was having not clear vision of what he wants, and he just told me. Actually, we work on it together with Oto on the project for Amazon, and it was for the Tomorrow's War movie.
you can show it.
Which actually I've got a brief saying that, okay, we're gonna go to the cities, Copenhagen, Oslo, Amsterdam, and different places, and we want to have all these iconic buildings to be destroyed. How you want to destroy it, it's up to you. So I went crazy, completely crazy, and it was like after Third World War, and they said like, okay, we like it, let's make it moving, because they want to put it on the billboards for the promo of the movie. So I was like, okay, I can, but then I needed to go back off a little bit to find a good spot for the director as well to be liking it as well. So it was like again, back and forth between the communication and going completely crazy at the first, and then back off a little bit.
Okay, thank you. And we have also one last question from Slido. What mouse do you use?
Mouse?
Yeah, just
mouse?
turn around and read that. Huh.
What mouse?
I have this one.
I'm using pen. I'm using Wacom. I barely use mouse actually. Sorry. I'm using mouse, but when I'm on the Unreal, because pen is just it's not really implemented yet.
But last time I'm able to do matte paint with the mouse.
No more questions. Just just say quickly. What's your favorite movie?
Oh. This is very, very insidious question, man.
Actually, mine will be
For me, Matrix.
Clash of the Titans. Actually,
Okay.
Because when I was a kid,
Good taste. Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was my favorite movie. Scary as. But my first job in the film was at the frame store, and I got to work on the remake, and it was perfect.
Okay, guys, I'm gladly to thank you for your presentation and big applause from the crowd.
Thank you.
Thank you.